Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 77. Today, we will be talking with Annie MacDonald. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Trail Manners Podcast. Back in Studio 78.
So last time we did this was September.
Yeah, it was September.
Who was it? Was it back half Barlow?
Nope.
No,
it Chelsea?
It was Chelsea.
Chelsea Hathaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the last guest we had in our bus
I
right
know.
after the Bear in September.
That's right.
But now we are, on location.
Yes.
Right? In the bus, Studio
Yeah.
78.
New location. We've never been here
Never
before.
been here before. We're at the Farmington Pond
Right.
area. There's trails abundant,
Everywhere.
and you may hear this river raging in the background.
Yeah. Shh.
Oh, you can totally hear that.
I heard that.
Yeah, you can hear it. So we're, it's raining, which is beautiful. I love the rain.
It can suck it.
Yeah, we're in the bus in Studio 78,
Yep.
and this is just a great location.
It is. It's really pretty.
And we have a great guest,
We do.
right? So our guest today is Annie MacDonald.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you guys doing?
she's here. So yeah, I had to text her this morning and said, hey, the bus doesn't have a heater,
Nope.
so make sure you dress warm.
So I
She
brought
did.
all kinds of things. Got my blanket.
She's got blanket. She's got
Got
a
gloves
long
down
kind
there.
of like a Cruella de Vil white long coat, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
what do you call those kind of coats? Not trench, but
It's not
yeah,
trench.
It's kind of like a trench coat. It goes down.
It's not creepy like a trench
Yeah,
coat, though.
that's what
Well,
I do.
that's true.
Yeah.
No, it's not like a
It's like-
1980s creepy trench
like
coat.
Flasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, though. Maybe I
That-
need to get one of those.
Maybe.
You should have one of those with your van. That would go perfect.
Oh, you want to borrow it? It's right-
Yeah. He's got some with his candy back there.
Got the candy back there,
yeah,
too.
it was an option. It came with the options.
Yeah,
did
right.
it?
Like, what options do you want? I'm like, I'm gonna go with the creeper coat and
the bong.
And the
And the
candy.
candy.
Let's do that,
and a little note that says "Kids come inside."
Yeah,
Yeah.
puppies. I didn't do the puppies because they get bigger.
They do.
Yeah.
So I
They're
just did
expensive.
Not as cute.
I'm just on that auto order candy thing, you know, like the Razor company
That's
once a month you
awesome.
get an order. That's what I get is the
I
auto
know.
order.
Creepers
I
are
like
us, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we are. I like this type of weather.
I do
It's
too.
cold and rainy, but it's
Yeah.
not downpour.
No.
I like this kind of weather. I don't like to run in this kind of weather anymore.
Oh,
I
I
used
do.
to,
Yeah.
but I don't anymore.
I do because before too long we're gonna be like, man, it's hot.
Yeah, sweating
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I take advantage of this much as I can.
But
Right.
sitting here next to the river, this is perfect weather.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah.
Even after a good run, you could jump in that river.
Not today. That's
No.
cold.
Just your
There
legs.
is a rope swing in the pond over there that
Whoa.
after a good run, the snorkelers are known to go and do the rope swing into the pond.
Or
Yeah.
after a good podcast.
Not today.
Oh, now that's a dare. There you go.
Yeah,
Let's
you can
do
do
it.
that
I'll
today.
videotape it.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well,
yeah, it's in the sideline.
in this compartment, I've got my Speedo. So
Oh.
I keep everything.
See, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, it's
All
just-
your creepy accessories.
you gotta. You never know what you're gonna come across, so you come prepared.
That's
Right,
right.
True.
You come prepared.
Never know when you're going to need it.
That's right. So you know what's interesting? So we've known Annie for a lot longer than we thought.
True.
Right.
Right.
So about a week ago, a little over a week ago,
Yeah.
Annie wanted to buy a visor, a Trail Manners visor.
Right.
And so we're like, yeah, for sure. She's like, but I'm running a race
Yeah.
that starts tomorrow. I'm like, well, we can't ship it, so let's meet. We'll get it to you. So we did. And I ended
Right.
up talking to Annie for almost an hour. And holy cow, it was like all this flood of type memories come back. And
Right.
then I hear these great stories. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I didn't get out of the parking lot. I'm texting Joe. I'm like, okay, we're going to be having her on the podcast.
Right.
Just kill
Aw.
her. So
Yeah.
But we'll get to some of that stuff. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
No.
But let's get Annie to talk now.
Yeah, let's backtrack.
Let's backtrack. So, Annie, tell us and our listeners, there's about 8 or 9 of them,
Right.
tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, introduce yourself to our people.
Okay, so I live here in Farmington. Love it. I've lived here for probably 16, 17 years or so. Grew up in Salt Lake on a big farm way out west side.
Oh, no. So can I say this real quick then? Because
Yeah.
it's going to come up. Was it the MacDonald farm?
That's awesome.
Was it?
No,
No?
sadly it wasn't.
Okay.
That's my married last
Dang it.
name.
Oh,
That would have been way cool.
it would have been.
It's
Sorry.
the Bertosh family farm.
Okay, I'll let that one. I know
Yeah,
that name,
sadly,
too.
so my family came across from Italy with the Malins and the Buses. They didn't get a canyon or a peak. They got Magna instead. So, we
I
got...
drew the short straw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they all came from
crazy.
Italy over together.
Wow.
This is a
know.
cool show already because me and Joel love Buse and Malins.
Me
We're
too.
out
Yeah.
there all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And
So
that's
those 3
interesting
families came
history.
from Italy together
Wow.
and ended up here in Utah. First Italians in Utah, Mormon pioneers.
Wow. This is an awesome show.
That's rad.
That's way cool.
Yeah, but like I said, my family didn't get anything but Magna.
Huh. That's a
So-
little different than Malins and
Yeah,
It's
this.
just a hair.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
That's all right.
I know.
So you grew up. Did you grow up in Magna or in Salt Lake?
Sort of. I was on the edge of Magna. It was called
Okay.
Hunter when
Okay.
I was growing up, but
Okay.
it's West Valley now. But
Okay.
it's like 6,000 west, so it's almost Magna.
Right.
But yeah, so I grew up out there on
Magna.
a big farm,
Huh.
Okay.
and yeah, crawled my way out of there. Made it to Davis County.
Yeah, you did.
It's went north.
Yeah.
So now what do you do?
So I am a real estate broker, and I sell a little bit of real estate, but I mostly manage real
Right.
estate agents and help run the real estate company.
Okay. Do you like that?
I love it,
Do ya?
actually. It's really, super flexible. It's really fun. Big personalities, big egos, big, it's a great career. I end up, in a lot of, it's a wonderful career.
How long have you been doing that?
21 years.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah, a
Wow.
long time. Done every aspect of real estate.
Right on.
Yeah.
So then you got somewhere along this journey from Magna, Italy to Magna,
Yes.
Magna, Italy.
Yes.
from Italy to Magna.
That's quite the
you,
jump.
You got into athletic endeavors, right? Because you didn't start just as a runner, right?
No, so my parents were big runners growing up. So anything we did was they would go run marathons or go run a race, and they would drag us kids along. I have pictures of all of us running 5Ks with my parents from a really, really young age. And my parents were always really outdoorsy. I didn't go on a plane until I was 17, I think. We had a motorhome that they loaded all 6 kids into, and we drove all over the United States and
Wow.
every national park. And my parents we were camping, fishing, hunting. We didn't really hunt, but we were up in the mountains. Every trail you can imagine, my parents hiked us up and down. And so that was where the love of being outdoors and being active came from. I was a swimmer growing up, so that was actually my love when I was younger. I mean, running was great, but it wasn't my passion, and I didn't do it in high school or anything like that. But I was a big swimmer. And then after I had my second daughter, my first husband decided he didn't want to be married or have anything to do with me or my girls, and so I started running with a girlfriend, and I was overweight and miserable and had these 2 little babies, and decided I got to do something about this, and so that's when I started actually running.
So how long ago was that?
That was 19 years ago.
Wow.
So was that just like road running you were doing?
Yeah,
at the time?
just
Okay.
road run. Well, it was road walking at first.
Shuffle.
It was. I just had a baby and I'm
Right.
fat and I need to
Gotcha.
move. But then it moved into road running.
All right.
Yes,
And so you quit swimming for a long time, right?
I did. Yeah.
And that was your number. So did you think that like either family or running was kind of taking that place of that? Because when you find a hobby or you find something you're in love with and you
Yeah.
it's not get rid of it, but you don't do it. There's something else has to fill that void.
True.
Right?
It's like
Yeah.
soccer for us,
Yeah.
right?
We
Yeah.
had to find something to
Yeah.
fill that competitive or void in our lives that we put so much to. So is that what you did with running or family, or did it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with the running at that point. It was kind of, I mean, I was I was divorced and I had these 2 young girls, and that was my escape. That was
Right.
my way
That
of
was your
getting
therapy.
out. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
that was my therapy. And then a year and a half after that, my second daughter had an accident and became she nearly hung herself on a swing set and became severely disabled, like 24-hour care, and was in primary children's for about 4 months the first go around, and I had to make the decision to pull her off of life support or to keep her on. And
What?
yeah, so then running became really my like sanity point. That it was my escape from the hospital. It was my escape from taking care of a 24-hour disabled child.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we had a small discussion about that last week, and I think my was doing what you're doing right now. I
Holy
just was
cow.
shaking my head.
You went from being a single mom to
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
It was, from the morning of the accident to the night, there was nothing in my life that was the same. I mean, I ended up selling my house and moving in with my parents and, having to take care of her, quitting my job and doing that. And she lived for about 4 years,
Right.
and then she passed away just due to complications from the accident.
Oh my goodness.
And you were saying that for that 4 years, it was 24-hour care
Yeah.
for 4 years, and you were saying it's like 2 hours a night was your average sleep pattern.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
Yeah. It was,
Wow.
it's a lot of it's a blur. I mean, I did keep a
Sure.
journal, which I'm really grateful for,
Oh,
because I
wow.
go back now and read it and I'm like,
Right.
what? I don't really remember that, because it was, yeah, average about 2 hours of sleep a night. She had meds I had to give her, and,
Right.
I mean, all
That's
through
amazing.
the night. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's where
Huh.
you found your like escape mountains
Right.
and
Yes.
running and just giving you time
Yes.
and to kind of deal or get away.
It was so I would disappear in the mountains, and it was my time that I could cry, I could be
Right.
angry, I could talk to God, I could yell at him and be pissed off, I
Right.
could, be happy and just find, peace for myself. And that's really what it did for me during that time.
'Cause I'm-
And still does, but
Right.
particularly then.
Well, and
Yeah.
like that makes a good point. I mean, during that time being at home and doing all that, you probably couldn't show those emotions at all.
No.
right?
No.
So it was
Mm-mm.
like that was the only time you could.
Yeah. Well, because I had this other, my other daughter was 3.5 when the accident happened. And then, so I still had her. And then actually I got remarried and had another daughter probably a year and a half or so after the accident. So then I had this little baby too, which was just completely overwhelming, having all of that.
Yeah.
Wonderful, but completely overwhelming.
Just so many spectrums.
Yeah.
I mean, of just everything. I mean, that's incredible to start there, and then you just kind of went from that point at somewhere and got deeper into the activities that you had time for, maybe now.
Right. Yeah. And after she passed away, then I think it took on a whole nother meaning for me, and there was I had more time obviously to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I lost a full-time job in time when she passed away.
Right.
I'm not referencing her that way, but
Yeah.
in time I lost that, and so I was able to have a lot more time to be able to go and do the things I wanted to do and pursue running more. And then I fell in with a group of road runners, a fabulous, amazing group of women that truly saved my life for the next 12 years of. We were up every morning and out on the roads 6 days a week.
Right.
And I would still hit the trails, but they didn't run trails with me. But they kept me going and truly saved my life, and dealing with the grief of all of that.
Wow.
Huh.
It's just unbelievable. Like me and Joel are just lucky. I mean, we had to hear stories and talk to people.
Right.
That, like, we can't fathom some of the things. We had Melissa Solomon on a
Right.
week ago.
Yeah.
Her story, and I can't tell you the countless people we've talked to, even off air as
Yeah.
friends, just saying running saved my life. Or
Right. This
there was a
morning I
turning
ran into
point.
Ben Wallace on the trails.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, that interview with Melissa was fabulous. He goes, looking at her, you would never know
Yeah.
that she went through that struggle. And, 4 years later, here she is on the cusp of running 100 miles.
Yeah.
He goes, that was such a cool story.
Yeah.
I
Well-
think that's what's so cool about the interviews you guys do, and just the trail running community in general.
Right.
You don't know what people have been through, but what you find out is I would say most of them have a really cool, amazing story behind them that you just go, wow.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that softball toss.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't have that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that out there right now.
That's why we
not
do
true.
this. That's why we do this.
Look at this creeper walking up, huh?
Uh-oh.
Is it?
Look at
Yeah, he's coming up creepy on the van.
Yeah, he is.
We're out of candy.
Yeah, no puppies for sale.
He forgot his trench coat. He doesn't.
So who is this
This
unknown guest?
This is my husband, Brad.
Making sure that everything's
Yeah,
cool.
he's right. No, wait a minute.
You missed what he said. He says, my wife's alone in a van with two strange guys. He had to come check on us.
He's checking on us or her?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know.
yeah, exactly.
That's true. You missed what I said in the beginning, but they kind of egged it on, and
Yeah.
I didn't mean to.
But we did have it recorded, thank goodness.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah,
We always love having guests.
that's true.
Yeah, I think what she said is right though. Is like, but the other side of that too, and this is the part for me that's inspiring, is not people with those stories. Not everybody is comfortable sharing those stories
True.
either.
True.
You know, so you still
Yeah.
wouldn't know, like Melissa and yourself. You know, those sharing those stories for some people just isn't easy,
No.
right?
Yeah.
To talk about something so personal and so traumatic or so, you know. I mean, how many, this saved my life. I mean, just putting
Right.
that into perspective
Exactly.
and knowing that the person's serious, but just saying it out loud.
Which I agree with you. And I like from my perspective, I think about it like I think about my Kaylee, my daughter. And for me talking about it, like I know a lot of people are uncomfortable asking or uncomfortable, asking me questions about it or even knowing about it and thinking that maybe I don't want to talk about it. But for me, I think I learned so much from that. And I am so grateful for that experience because I wouldn't be who I am and I wouldn't have what I have if it wasn't for that. And if I could have my daughter back whole, but I had to give up what I got and who I became, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it was the most amazing experience. And I think I need to honor her life and it needs to matter.
Yeah.
And so talking about it makes it matter, right? And
Right.
like doing good from it makes it matter, and makes it like real, makes it still like Kaylee's still a part of things.
Yeah. Well, I
You
mean,
know?
she definitely is, and
Yeah.
in a lot of levels, not just talking about it, but just in
Yeah.
your life, like you said, honoring it and, again, to a position we can't even fathom.
No.
Just on a daily basis, the inspiration you probably get or
Right.
need
Yeah.
at times and can draw from that, I think
Yeah.
is huge. That
Well, and
wow.
thinking about like, the way I live my life is completely because of that experience. So, it trying to live it 100% to the fullest every
Right.
single day,
Yeah.
and just going, okay, you don't know how much time you have. You don't know what's
True.
going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think about that day of that accident, that morning. I so clearly remember what I was thinking is such a vivid memory to me. And I think, I had no idea what was coming,
Yeah.
and so now I think, okay, again, you just don't know that there might be something else. So let's like get out there and live and do as much as we can.
Yeah, and you do that. I
Yeah.
mean, because we've mentioned it like I don't know every show, but we're just amazing stalkers. And
Yes.
so we know what you mean by you getting out. I mean, you do tons of things, right?
Yep.
All the time, you're doing something.
Mhm.
Right.
You drive that wicked awesome orange Jeep that we had
Yeah.
a picture of the other day.
I know.
But you live life. You embrace everything it has to offer, and I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Because it is sometimes can be a cliche when people say, "Oh yeah, you got to live every day because you don't know." I mean, it's true,
Yeah.
but sometimes it takes something to really rattle your cage,
Right.
to make you kind of actually feel that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I suspect that even before the accident, you are who you are, right? And that I don't want to say that made you better, right?
Absolutely.
Right? It
Draws
was
it
it was
out.
already
Yeah.
there. It was already in you. You were probably super rad before. Now you're like, what's beyond super rad?
Super duper rad.
Yeah, I like it. Super duper rad.
rad.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, it's a hashtag in itself.
Yeah. She's the
Trademark
duper.
that.
She's the duper now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, just when you're sitting across from you talking to you, you can tell that you're passionate. I think you're kind.
Hopefully.
I think so.
try
I
to
think
be.
that's there,
Yeah.
right? Because you're a mom. Most moms
Yeah.
are kind, right?
Yeah.
And you're just rad. Really, you get that from you.
Yeah.
Aw,
No, I
for sure.
agree. I agree. Not just in person you do for sure. Like I
Yeah.
said, we knew the social media thing, but then, again, talking to you last week, it was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun meeting new people that are
Yeah.
super duper rad,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I had fun. Yeah, that was a great conversation.
That was. I mean, I was just
really-
like planning
it was
on
like-
dropping it off,
I
and it was
know.
like we're talking, and then it would go to here and here, and I'm like,
And I
wait a
actually got a
minute.
sunburn. We stood out there and talked
Did
in
ya?
the parking lot. Yeah, I did. I was like, oh.
I just bronzed, I think. That day. Well, here's the other funny part: is Brad already left, so
Aw.
he really did come to make sure that.
Yeah, he totally did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think
He's
he
never
came
met us
to-
before. He's like, I'm not sure about this story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had told him to come up here with me in the beginning. I'm like, just come up and hang out. And
Yeah.
he's got his daughters, and so
Okay.
he's like, they probably won't have fun sitting up there in the rain. And so I said,
That's
well,
true.
you
We
can
go
come.
tubing in the
I
rain.
know.
We go tubing
That's
in the river.
true.
Get that,
swimming
get
in the
that swing
pond.
on the pond.
I
Right
just
now.
think it's funny he came up to check on you. I think that's awesome.
That's a good husband
Yeah,
for
it
you.
is.
I
That
know.
is.
He is the best. I honestly have the absolute best husband ever made. Like, he is the best.
So he matches you, like, has the same passion you do for playing outside.
Yeah,
right?
he wow. Oh, wow. That was not cool.
So
So-
some dude in a truck just came up here and sprayed the van
With rocks.
With
rocks.
And he hit the window so it didn't crack, right? You running him down.
Wow. I'm sorry. That
It's
was
not your
crazy.
fault. It was that
Clowns.
douchebags. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back
Anyway,
to
yeah, so we
Back
met
to your awesome
he
husband.
and I met like 3 years ago,
Right?
and he
to sell him a house.
yeah.
Did you?
No,
Oh.
I was going to. He was living in Minnesota.
Oh.
Crazy enough, like, I'm embarrassed to say this, but we actually met on Tinder. Yep.
So
I
you
know.
swiped.
Yeah.
I don't
Which
know
way,
anything
right?
about that.
I know. Yeah.
Is that the swipe one?
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Really?
I know. Crazy, huh? So I got divorced. So after when my daughter died, my my ex-husband and I dealt with our grief very differently.
Right.
And it just, we did 9 years after her death, and it just,
Right.
it just didn't work. And he's a great guy, and it just didn't work. And we just chose different avenues. And so I think, different addictions, I guess. Mine was running.
Right.
And so when I met, so I had been, single for a couple of years, and my girlfriends I told you about that I was running with didn't like
the
this
road
guy.
runners,
The
right?
road runners,
Okay.
yeah, they didn't like this guy that I'd been dating, and so they forced me to get on Tinder because they were like, "You've got to meet someone new," and so anyway, got on Tinder, met Brad, and got off Tinder. He's the only person I ever met, and I met him for lunch. That was all I was willing to do.
Well, so how'd you meet him for lunch? He's in
Minnesota.
You're here in Utah.
He was in town because his ex-wife moved here with his daughters, so he was flying into town to see his
Oh,
girls.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we met, and then he flew out the next day and went away. And
Right.
then anyway, so we started dating, and all my girlfriends, he's younger than me, so got the cougar.
Like a couple years or like a
Like
lot?
3.
That's okay. That's acceptable.
That's okay?
Fine. That's totally fine. If it was
funny.
like 10 or more, then yeah.
Then there'd be issues.
Yeah.
That'd be a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's perfect because he, like, my friends told him when they met me, they're like, you understand what you're getting into, right? Like, can you keep up with her? Like,
Right.
you understand how she is. And he's perfect. Like,
Right
we
on.
just have so much fun together. He's
Right
the
on.
best.
So was he a runner before he met you, or did you like immediately corrupt him?
He was a runner, sort of.
Okay.
He would do triathlons. So he would run to
yeah.
to do the triathlons.
Right.
But he hates running. If you ask him, he will tell you he hates running, which really pisses me off because, so I signed him up for races. Like,
Good.
so I toally
You know what
corrupted
his
him.
ultra sign up is, right?
Well, Oh yeah, I created it.
Yeah.
And like I signed him up for like a 50 miler, and he just got the email. I didn't tell him. He just got the email, and he calls me. He's like, "You have some explaining to do." Yeah, you're gonna do it with me.
Self-explanatory. You're registered for a 50.
Go run.
Yeah, exactly. What's there to explain here?
Just start training.
Yeah.
So he and he's a really good sport about it, but I
Right.
really have done that many times with him. But then on Pony last year, he comes in third overall
At the 50 miler.
at the 50 miler, and it was his
Punk.
4th 50 miler. So
Right.
we did 4 of them last year,
Right.
but still He hates running, and he
So
comes
he's-
in third overall. He did it in like 8 hours or something stupid like
yeah,
that.
you got to get to the finish line fast if you hate it.
Yeah,
right.
that's what he says. He's like,
Yeah.
I just want to get it over with.
That's the best
I'm
way
done.
to do it is go fast, right?
Oh, that's so unfair.
And so, yeah, when I signed up for, well, I didn't even tell him I signed up for the 100 miler. I really didn't. For like 2 months, he didn't know I'd signed up for it. And then his first question was, "You didn't sign me up, right?"
You didn't get the email?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Check your spam folder.
Exactly. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
So does he still swim? And if he does, do you go swim with him? Is
Yeah.
that like his payback to you?
Yeah.
in a way?
Well, so actually, when we met, I was swimming on the Masters team in
Oh my goodness.
in Bountiful, and he was swimming in Minnesota.
Right.
And I jumped back in the pool after 20 years of not being in the pool.
Right.
I had a friend who said, you should come do this with me. I know you used to be a swimmer, and I was like, I was single and had all this. My kids are older, so I had all this time on my hands. I'm like, why
Right.
not? Let's do it. And so I joined the swim team, and so yeah, we swum together on the swim team.
Wow.
Since then I've taken a hiatus. I haven't been in a while, but he's gone more than I have.
Wow. That's
I've been
great.
running more.
Because that's
Well,
where
yeah.
your focus now is
Yeah.
just on that running side.
Right.
Mhm.
Because you've had some running going on, and you've
Yeah.
also had some troubles
Yes.
getting to the start line
yes.
of some races, right?
Yes.
So
Well, but I want to know, how did she get into trail running?
yeah,
I wanna know
because you
that.
had that road running group of girls
Right.
that you were.
Mhm.
How did you get in? How did you get on the trails?
My parents,
Yeah.
just the fact that I,
That's awesome.
they'd always taken us out,
Right.
and I lived here in Farmington, and there's a million trails here,
Yeah.
and so I would, I'd go with my friends that would run the roads, but the trails are my favorite. I just
Right.
love the trails, and so I would still do that, and then I'd heard about the Bear Gutsman, and
Yep.
I wanted to do it, and didn't really know what I was getting into. So I signed up for it, and that was, I think, like 2007, maybe somewhere in there,
Right.
maybe somewhere
Yeah.
in there. And I went. I didn't take any fuel with me. I didn't take water with me,
Oh.
and thought,
How bad
could
could
do
it be?
this.
How bad could it be?
right,
No biggie. It's only 4,000 feet of climbing.
right, no big deal. I can do that. And so it was not the most pleasant experience, but I did it,
Right.
and then I was hooked. Then it was like, I only want to run trails.
Yeah.
This is it for me.
So you go from Bear Gutsman to being hooked to, how'd you find your new tribe then? Your new running buddies.
I honestly, I've thought a lot about that because I don't really know.
Okay.
Like I met people
Yep.
at the Gutsman, and then I actually did your race series. I did the Fully Nuts,
Right.
Northern
Nice.
Utah's finest
Yeah.
trail series.
Once upon a
Once
time.
upon a time, exactly.
And met a lot of people there that I'm still really good friends with and that I still run with.
That's
And
so cool.
That
yeah.
is.
And
Well, you said that the other day. You're like, you should go back and look at the result, and I did. I
Yeah.
went
Oh,
back
you
and looked at
did?
some of the results and some of the names. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they ran it. I didn't know.
Right.
I mean, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
you need to publish those. I want to see the results.
And I don't
want to
have all
know.
of them for some reason. I don't know if they went straight to Ultra Sign Up, and they may not be on there now. But I did have a couple. Some the dork. I have a few spreadsheets, and
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
does.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know they ran that race. Or wow, that was pretty fast. Or holy cow, that must have been their first race, right?
Right.
You know.
I know. I would love to see those. I think that would be.
Yeah,
It would be fun.
It was
Really
kind
fun.
of interesting.
See
'cause-
who we knew then.
Yeah.
and who we still hang out with,
Right.
and names we recognize now.
Exactly.
I've done that after you and I talked last week. I kind of went back on a few of the races on Ultra Sign Up, and I was like, I want to see if there's anybody I know now that I was, that I didn't know I knew.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in the trail running community for sure. And then, of course, it gets smaller as you get into the ultra community.
Right.
From trail to
Yeah.
ultra, so it gets more condensed, and then you start seeing all the familiar names. And
Right.
Uh-huh.
See familiar faces at every
Yeah,
race.
it's crazy.
Yep.
And then all the people you know, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they come up, hey, how's it going? You're like, dang it, I know
I
your
should know.
face.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
That's
Or they have the whatever name you've given them, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, and I back then, you guys know, you'd go to these trail races, and there are 10 of us out there to run.
Yeah.
Oh, we know.
You
Oh,
know.
we have that problem.
Yeah.
Definitely, we know that.
Trust me, we know.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys.
We got 140 shirts and 30 runners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I've got 2 of the shirts right here.
She does, which are cool.
We'll ship the rest to third world country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back then you'd do these trail races, and they're just super small, and there weren't very many of them. I would try to find them, and I'd run every trail race I could find.
Right.
And back then I had zero desire to do more. I didn't even to do more than a half marathon.
Right.
Like I used to tell friends, I don't ever want to run a marathon because I think it'll make me hate running.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
I would do. I think I've run I know I've run over 50 half marathons.
Wow. That's 25 marathons.
I know, right?
I'm a quick math.
You are.
But I just
That's
was
some
like,
good algebra.
that's as far as I want to go. I don't even want to attempt anything
Right.
more than that. And then I signed up for the Buffalo Run, the 25K.
Yeah.
I think I ran that the first year in 2010, maybe.
Okay.
And I got out there, and I felt pretty confident. I'd run enough trail runs. I was feeling pretty good about myself. First of all, in my mind, Antelope Island is flat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And in my mind, there was going to be no climbing.
No, none
that
at
was
all.
my first problem.
That first 2 miles, none.
Right, none at all.
None.
I was not swearing at all, going, where the hell are these hills coming from?
Exactly, right?
And then I got to mile 15 and a half, 16 miles. I don't even know how long that course is. And I looked at my watch, and I'm like, what the? Where's the finish line?
Oh, the 25K is
it's like
16
16
it
and a
was
half.
16.
Yeah, it was early on though. It was like 17
Yeah.
and change early on.
Yeah. I look back at my thing, and I'm like, it was like 17 miles. I was so pissed.
I'm sure.
I was pissed.
You've never
I'm like,
gone above a half marathon.
Yeah.
You got the extra 4 miles
Yeah.
tagged on.
Yeah, I was a little bit mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
No.
You're coming around.
Yeah, you have
can't
no
see
idea where
that.
you're at.
Yeah.
And then
And then
when
you see the finish,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you still have like a mile and a half
Exactly.
to go.
Downhill.
Downhill.
Exactly.
Well, there I can hear the people screaming and cheering, but
Yeah.
I got a ways to go.
But I can't get there. Yeah.
So you finished that. So what was your feelings then? Did you just totally hate on it then, or you like, I need more?
No, I need more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Right
was
on.
completely, I need more.
So at that, so you'd run some of our races, the Nuts
Yep.
series, right? And then you go and you do Antelope Island. So are you building your tribe at that point? Are
Yeah.
you building your network of trail runners?
Yeah.
running friends. Who
Yeah.
were some of the early on people that you ran with, like training
so
or whatever?
who we know?
I don't know that you know a lot of them.
Try
You know,
us.
Try us.
We're pretty out there.
And if
well,
not, we're gonna lie.
I ran a little bit with like Les.
Vieira.
Les
yeah, we saw
Vieira.
him
We
on
know him.
Tinder. Yeah, we saw
Yeah,
him on
and
Tinder.
Brandy, his wife. I want to know where he finished ahead. Where we finished on those Nuts races.
All right.
I can pull that up.
Yeah.
And then I would talk friends, like my road running friends, into doing it with me.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Enabler.
kind of mean.
But
Yeah.
did they love it? I mean, did they get hooked like you did?
No, not very many
So
of
then
them.
those weren't true friends at that point.
Yeah, they
right?
were
They're
dead to me. They're
Unfriended
done.
on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
They're totally out of the picture.
Yeah. No more coming over for waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah, waffles. Is that what we're doing after this?
I know.
Right on.
Well, I feel like I ran in the trail community not really knowing anybody. Like I knew who they were and I would see them, but they didn't really we didn't know each other, you
Right.
know, like I said. And so it's up until just a few years ago. And then that's when I started, one of my road friends, her sister hooked me up with the snorkelers.
Right.
And so I started running with them, and they have very quickly became my tribe, my
Yeah.
people, and such a good group.
Isn't that fun?
They're just the best.
You find your group and
Yeah.
you're hooked. You're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I look back and I remember my first ever trail race was the Buffalo Run 25K the very first year.
Was it?
Yeah.
I knew 0 trail runners in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
I trained by myself on a fire road because I thought that was a trail because no one told me differently.
Yeah.
I had a friend over the phone that was telling me to run a trail and you should run this Buffalo Run race. I'm like 25K. I mean, I've run a 5K.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
5 times 5, I could do that, right?
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I showed up to the race, didn't know a single person, started at the very, very back because I was shy, and
Yep.
I still was. It took me a long time before I found people to run, and I don't remember when I started running with people. Like, I don't know where that came from. I mean,
I started stalking you on your blog.
See, and that's that.
Really?
I did have
Yeah.
a blog.
Huh.
I had a blog.
Yeah,
but
blog long time ago.
long
Yeah.
time ago, because that's how my
that was
friend.
like 2007,
that's when blogs were cool, right?
I
2008.
probably I'm sure I read it then
blogs-
because that's probably how I
That
found
was
the
back
fully
in the day.
nut.
So back in the day, like when the MRC, the Mormon Running Club, they had a blog.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Remember those guys, the MRC?
No, I did not. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they had a blog, and then on the side of their blog, they had a blog roll,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Of
right.
all
Oh,
the
and
most
that's where you-
recent posts. And that's how I always got my information, what was kind of
That's-
going around the
That's
area.
what I kinda
Really?
did.
And I think you might have been on that blog roll, and I was like, well, he lives in my area. I need to start stalking him.
Well, see, and my problem is, my husband says I can't say this anymore now after my race last week, but
Okay.
I really have always been and or felt like I'm a back of the pack person. Like, I'm not a super fast runner,
Right.
and I used to be faster, like on my accident that I had.
We'll
But
get into that one too.
yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay. I don't
But-
know that story yet.
Yeah, and so I was really nervous to run with people. I still get that way.
Right.
Like, I'll still go with a group of friends, and I might start a half hour ahead of them. Like, if I try to go with like Brad Sween and Logan and Jordan and Jeremy, like,
Right.
I'll start a half hour ahead of them because they're crazy fast and
Yeah, they
I'm
are.
crazy not fast. And so if I'm going to run with those guys, like, either that or I see them at the beginning. And a lot of the snorkeler runs, I see them at the beginning and I see them when they're coming back down.
Right.
So, which is fine. I
It
don't
is.
mind running by myself. Like, I love
It's
seeing
all about
the
just
people.
meeting people, right?
Mhm.
You like you got that commitment to meet them on like Tuesday morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Then I'm going to be up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best part about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I agree. And then I went and did a service project with Matt Gunn,
Yeah.
and
How long
Matt,
ago was that?
that was
Was it this year or last
2
year?
years
last
ago.
year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, and then I met a lot of people in the ultra community
Right.
there, and I already had it in my mind that I was going to do a 50
Right.
because I had paced friends on 50s, and I had done a 50K, and I had done some of these longer distances, and I really, really, really wanted to do Antelope Canyon 50 before I went and did that service project. And then after meeting him and everybody
Right.
and spending a weekend with him doing service, I was like, I'm
So we
for
need to
sure doing
let's,
that.
Let's say what that service project is, because I think a lot of people would like to do it. To be honest.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
It was amazing. It was one of the coolest things we've ever done. We took our kids down and we stayed in a Hogan,
Right. So where's it at?
Monument Valley.
Okay.
And we stayed in Monument Valley
Yep.
in a Hogan with the Navajo families.
Yeah. And so if somebody doesn't know what a Hogan is, what is it?
It's like a mud hut, like a
Right.
circular mud
And how's it held
hut.
up?
I don't even know, to be honest. It's like mud. Like,
Yeah, but there's something inside structurally.
I don't
You
even
should pay-
know.
You're a realtor. You should pay attention to
I
the structural
totally
integrity
should.
of this, right? It's wood that they gather from that area, and it smells so. It's so aromatic. I'm not sure if
Yes.
it's cedar, but something like that.
something. I don't know what it is
Yeah, and
either.
it's so rad when you come inside and your eyes adjust finally. You're like, this is gorgeous on the inside
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think we packed like 30 of us
because they're huge.
into that Hogan, and
Yeah.
we were like sardines around,
Yep.
in a circle. Like the Barlows were there, and like Christiane and Aaron Williams and Matt Van Horn. Like it was a killer group
Right.
of people. Yeah, we
And
just had all our kids all snuggled up together.
Yep. And then you're out there doing your service project, and your kids are just being kids, getting dirty in the
Mhm.
desert.
And we got to go do some trail runs. Like Matt took us up
Yeah.
on the mesa and run through areas that you normally don't get to run through because they're either private property or they're
Right.
part of Monument Valley.
Yep.
And yeah, and we we built, like I said, we were doing service. There was trail work, and we built a new shack for the lady down there.
Right.
That I mean, it was really cool.
It's really when you're down there, you realize one how remote it is.
Yes.
Crazy remote, and then you realize how I don't want to say these people are living in poverty,
But they are.
but they are, right?
Like, to them, they're happy and
Exactly.
they're great. Like you talk to them and you're like, you have nothing,
Right.
but you think you have everything and you're happy, and
Right.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
thing to have your kids to see that.
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
It really is.
kind of puts things into perspective
Mhm.
and gives them a different perspective.
Yeah,
really.
our kids really enjoyed it, and they were able to make food with them, and
That's cool.
It was really fun.
Right.
It was really cool.
I think that's a great race for anybody to go. It has to be on your bucket list.
Yes, absolutely.
Really, it does. That happens now it's happening
It's happening today.
the last Saturday in March now. Is I
Yeah.
think what they
It's going on
finally
right
decided
now.
on. Yeah.
As
Mhm.
we're talking about
Shooting?
it. They're running. I was going to say
Recording
shooting
this.
show. Because I keep waiting
Shooting.
because I'm waiting for these guys to come back and peel out. And I'm going to check a rock through their windshield next time. Just keeping an eye out. Man.
We got the Jeep ready. You can take off in the Jeep
I don't dig it.
after them. I hope it didn't damage the van.
And I'm nervous, man. Gosh dang, I'm watching for him because I already got an
keyed
eye
up
on a
about
rock.
that.
I got a rock in my eyesight. It's sharp. It's going to bust a window.
That's awesome. Here's my
Yeah.
Jeep keys. You can chase after
No,
them.
I'm not going to chase him. He'll come back. And that's when I'll tell Joe, call 911. Hurry. I don't know how long I can hold him off. Okay, well, let's talk about the Buffalo Run because you brought it up. We've brought it up. But again, let's go backwards again because that was your first 100, kind of.
Yes.
It was your first.
That was 2 weeks ago. She ran the Buffalo.
No,
It was
a
1
week
week.
ago.
1 week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was her first 100-mile start line, but
Right.
Yes.
you registered for a couple hundreds before that.
Yes,
Talk us through that. So it was your first 100, your third, I won't say attempt because you never attempted one because
didn't
why?
show up
What
to the
happened?
others.
So your first 100-miler, what was your first 100 you signed up for?
The first 100 I signed up for was actually Buffalo the year before.
Okay.
And then I signed up for Pony Express, and I was actually going to do the OTM, which is like a bandit run. It's not like an official
The
run
monkey
that
orange.
the
Sam
orange
Jukes
monkey
and a few
thing.
others
Yeah.
put on.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay, so the Buffalo Run 100 a year ago, you were all signed up, ready to roll, and
I on that one, I actually, so I broke my back 4.5 years ago.
Doing what?
Just nothing. That's the worst part of it. Everything I do, it was the dumbest thing. I stood up. I was sitting in a chair at my office on a tile floor, and I stood up. My chair rolled away. I didn't realize it. I went to sit back down, crashed down to the tile,
Yeah.
and immediately I was in so much pain. I was covered head to toe in sweat. Like my hair was dripping because
Right.
I'm like convulsing, and it crushed a nerve and a nerve root, and it broke a piece of my back off, and I
Shoot.
had zero strength in my left leg. I
Right.
couldn't. When I would try to walk, I was dragging my left leg.
Yeah.
Horrible. So I ended up having to have major back
Are you
surgery.
serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I really couldn't for probably 2 months up until I had my
So this was
surgery.
2016?
This was 2000.
You said last year.
Yeah, well, it was no.
Or
So I
was it
broke it. It was a
2015?
little bit earlier than that. It was,
Okay.
I broke it actually in 2012 is when the very end of 2012.
Okay.
And so I just and it's taken me.
Yeah.
So I had the surgery. I
Right.
couldn't lift my leg. I was dragging my leg. I had zero strength in my leg.
Okay.
Couldn't get up on my toes. And so I had the surgery, and then it was months in bed. And then
no.
it would like down flat. My girlfriends, I was divorced at the time, and my girlfriends were over there helping me like.
So were you living up here in Farmington at that time?
Yep,
Okay.
just here in Farmington. They were helping me like get into the shower and into the
Right.
bathroom. Like I couldn't do anything by myself. My daughters are helping me.
Oh.
And so it took me quite a while to get back to running. And that's where I say I lost a lot of my speed.
Right.
I'm thoroughly grateful that I can even just be out there. Like I don't really the
Right.
speed is not a thing for me because I'm so grateful that I can actually still be out there
Right.
after going through something like that. So my left leg from my butt to my toes is completely numb. And still.
Still.
Yeah. Like when I run,
So is it just on the backside that's numb, or the whole thing? Are we talking like the whole circumference? So if I came over and like stabbed you in the leg,
I
with
thought
a
about
knife?
that movie. Like,
Yeah.
stab my leg. Can you feel
Yeah.
it?
So would you feel it if I hit you in the quad?
It's like half of my leg. So it's like from here all the way around to the back. So
Really? So like
Is it
on
like
the
sleepy?
inside?
yeah, the inside I can
Inside
feel.
you're good, right?
Yeah, I'm good there.
Huh.
But the rest of it I can't feel.
That's
so is it like
crazy.
the sleepy feeling, like the tingly sleepy, or just
Sometimes.
Are we
Times?
talking like chicken, like the chicken? You know when?
Yeah.
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 Like chicken skin. Like
Yeah.
feels like chicken skin, right?
Sometimes, yes, and then other times it's just totally numb. Like you could, you can't feel. I can't feel anything.
Right.
Like
So the badger's like gnawing on your leg,
Yeah.
and you don't know it.
Yeah, you're like, it's good.
whatever.
Well, that's what I was like.
So
you
tough.
saw the blisters from the race.
You didn't know.
Oh, well, they're on my left foot, and I
Yeah.
kept telling everybody, they're like, how did you keep running with that blister? I'm like, I can't feel it. It's on my numb toe.
So
Like, I
that's
totally
to your
can't feel
advantage.
That's Mr.
Right.
Deeds, the dude that can't feel his foot. Mr. Deeds, right? That movie.
Exactly. Anyway, so it took me a while to like figure out,
Right.
and I have to slow down because, like I said, I have to really think how I place my left foot because I can't feel it.
Yeah, you don't have that proprioception coming back to you, right?
Mhm. Yeah. And
That's the biggest word we've ever used on this podcast.
Fancy.
Proprioception.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to I went to grad school.
Episode 77. He's
Yeah.
busting out the big ones.
Yeah. And so I had been training, and I had done a 50 miler at that point.
Okay.
And Larry Adams actually won a free entry into the Buffalo Run somewhere, and he gave it to me and said,
Aw.
"I'll give it to you if you sign up for the 100."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, done." I wanted to do one, I'll do it.
Right.
And so I signed up, and then I talked to Kenzie. I mean, we're just good friends.
Right.
And I just said, like, I don't feel like I really, like, I trained for my 50 that I just did a month ago, but
Right.
I'm not feeling it. Like, I just don't know. And she looked at all my stuff and she said, Annie, she's like, you could do it. She's like, but why just do it?
Right.
She's like, why don't you, so I dropped down to the 50. I took Jim some beer and said,
There you go.
drop me to the 50.
Yeah.
Day of the race. And he said, okay.
Okay. Yeah, twist my arm.
So,
Yeah.
so, and then I signed up for Pony Express 100, and that was what was.
So
gonna
what
be,
year was that?
That was last year.
in October.
Yeah.
In
So
October.
2016.
And I
Right.
was training, and I was feeling great and doing
Right.
awesome, and then I got in a car accident.
What?
September 2nd, and I knocked all my teeth out. I hit the steering wheel and it hurt. Ended up with bone grafts in my jaw. I cracked my sternum and I broke ribs.
I've heard this story, so just looking at Joel, I'm just giggling.
Because I'm looking at her and she's got a good set of chompers right now.
Well, they're all fake.
Yeah.
All these
Those are
fake.
good-looking teeth. They don't look like they're fake.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I ended up having to have like
Wait a minute,
10.
is that why you got the Jeep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've had the Jeep. The accident was in the Jeep.
that
They
one right
fixed
there?
That
it.
one right there?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Wow.
$17,000 worth of damage. But it wasn't my fault, though. So
not.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
You look really remarkable considering that.
yeah, so you
how
had
bad it was.
you said
10 root
Jaw.
canals.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I'd never had one. And I had
Aren't
to.
they fun?
No, they're not.
had to have 10.
10.
And then they had to do an implant,
Yeah.
and they had to do the surgery, like I said, to do a bone graft on my jaw, and they cut me from the inside, from here to here,
Oh,
and
Gertie.
killed all the nerves on my bottom teeth. And then all the top ones, like I said, are fake. They had to do the veneers or crowns or whatever.
Yeah.
Wherever they didn't do an implant, they had to do that because it cracked my teeth.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So do you have feeling up in your jaw then? Kind of matches your leg?
Yeah,
so
it's
if you
kind of
if
yeah.
you bit the outside of your left leg, you couldn't feel it either way.
Either way.
it would work out perfectly.
Somebody, you can imagine she's over there just chomping on her leg, and somebody's like, Annie, she's doing it again.
Like, I can't feel it.
Yeah.
It's like the dog who need a cone around
Yeah,
their head.
exactly.
So you're in a hospital for a while, I'm imagining.
No,
It's
I actually
What?
I didn't go to the hospital because it was a few miles from it was a mile from my house, and so I called my husband and said,
Oh,
"Come
no.
get me. I just got in this car accident," and we were actually on our way to St. George. I was heading home to go to St. George.
Okay.
And so he's like, "We don't have to go." And I'm like, "No, let's go." We were going with my brother, and we get down there.
What?
I
no,
know.
wait a minute. You had no teeth.
No teeth.
Well,
And your jaw
they
was-
hurt really, really bad.
And you got a broken
But-
sternum.
And this hurt really, really bad. But I
Right.
was like, I'll be fine. I'm going to lay around here, or I'm going to lay around in St. George. So let's just go to St. George, and I'll just lay around there. It'll heal. It'll be fine.
So St. George, for those people who don't know, it's just 5-hour
5
drive.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
4.5 from Farmington.
Oh,
And so we got down there, and the next morning I got up with my brother, and we were going to go. We went and hiked Molly's Nipple, which is down in Hurricane. I know, it's an awesome name.
Joel's over here in 6th grade again.
Come on now.
Just starts giggling.
You know you guys laughed at that.
That's the first thing you're like.
I know. It's true. And I got a mile into it, and I was sobbing, in tears,
Well, yeah.
sobbing. And so I went back to the house we had rented, and Brad said, "You're going to the hospital.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice." And so then I went to the hospital and found out what I'd done. And
So did you have to then drive back up to Salt
Yeah.
Lake then to
And-
get fixed up?
uh-huh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
and so I still did the Pony 50.
Of course
But-
you did. Why wouldn't you?
Wait a minute. So
But I didn't run it myself. So my friend had decided that he wanted to do an ultra. His brother, Andrew Jensen, is an ultra runner. And he and I have been friends independent of that, and figured out that his brother, Andrew, was an ultra runner and a friend of mine too. And he would come to all my races, and he would go to all of Andrew's races, and he decided he wanted to do one. He was like completely inspired by this community. And so he dropped like 40 pounds and signed up for a 50. And so I told him I would stay with him and do it with him. And his brother Andrew and Danny Witterberg and I all stayed with him.
Right.
And so it was mostly walking. There was like that much running because he just,
wanted to do it.
Yeah, he just wanted to do it.
Did you have all your surgeries beforehand?
They were
before the race?
intermingled.
Oh my gosh.
So you were like 6 root canals down.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Half a bone graft in
Yeah.
the jaw
Oh
down.
my gosh, that's amazing.
So,
You got a blender.
yeah, we came in last. Danny thinks he was last. So, Danny, if you're listening, you weren't last. I was last. I got DFL on that Pony Express, not you. Long live the evil king.
So you couldn't get to that 100-miler because of
injuries.
injuries, but not like when we say injuries with runners, not like a runner's injury.
No, it's not like oh, I've got tendonitis in my my hamstring, right?
I hit my face on a steering wheel.
I had to kind of get this facelift, basically.
frequent, flyer miles at the dentist right now for
Yeah.
my root canals.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Like, I have my last appointment on Monday, and I can't even tell you how happy I am
This
to
Monday?
to get the rest of the teeth on top replaced and fixed.
Gosh.
So excited that I'm
Yeah.
done.
There's a lot
Whoever
of things.
did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, they did.
So
I would never know that. Oh my gosh. So do you have any residual issues besides not being able to feel your jaw?
I can't bite the bladder, so I had to bite it like on the side of my mouth as I was running the race. So you know how you normally would like bite it with your front teeth? I can't do that.
And
so
open
I have
it
to,
or squeeze get the water.
Yeah,
What?
like
So
to
I mean, you got
squeeze.
like bionic jaw. Why can't you do it?
Yeah,
Right?
seriously, because my teeth are too sensitive. I can't. I still can't bite into very much.
Did
Like-
you ever think about getting like gold teeth or
Oh, I
diamonds?
should.
What about the
that would be
like the
awesome.
little like?
Oh, like diamonds on them and stuff, or
Oh, that'd be kind of cool too. I'm thinking there was like this
That might
cartoon
hurt,
in the
though.
80s, and
Cartoon in the 80s.
it was He-Man. Remember that?
Oh,
There was that
yes.
one character on He-Man. He had the steel jaw, right?
Yeah.
yes,
That would
yeah.
have been rad.
That
To get
would've
the
been
teeth that
super
were
rad.
kind of like pointy.
You could open like soup cans and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
The guy on,
Just
be
bite off the
awesome.
top of beer bottle.
like the guy on James Bond.
Yeah,
Jaws.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes, I like this idea.
Wow, this isn't.
Maybe
this
we'll
is
have to go back
crazy.
and have them redo.
There we go. Just take a can opener and I want this. This is what I'm going for.
I need like a,
Just on one side though.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, and make it a little bit hidden so
Yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
totally obvious.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Just like a flip flop with a bottle opener.
Yeah, exactly.
But all in all, you made it to your first 100-mile race.
Yes.
A
Well,
week
did you
ago.
do any races this spring leading up to the 100-miler?
No,
No.
I had to think through that. No,
Okay.
I did the Dugway.
Doesn't count.
Yeah,
Joel
Nope.
dismissed that
No,
one
no,
right
no.
away.
yeah. Nope, it doesn't count. But no, I didn't. I just did lots of training.
Right on.
Yeah, and so a week ago, you towed the line, you got there,
Yep.
Yeah.
and Buffalo Run.
And I was really
100.
scared.
Yeah, well, it's your first 100.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And just getting there was probably, I mean, did you have someone drive you to make sure you
yeah.
didn't get a wreck?
That I didn't get in a wreck. Yeah.
you wrap
and
yourself
my
in foam?
friends.
The bubble wrap.
Been on the island for 2 weeks, haven't left the island.
That's right. Yeah, nobody can touch me. I'm in bubble wrap. And yeah, I was really scared getting out there. I mean, I was scared I was going to get injured before.
Right.
And then, and kind of in my mind, I really hadn't resolved that I was going to do it because I had started but really didn't do it. Like I'd signed up and really hadn't done it. So it was kind of one of those things where you're like, is it really going to happen? Am I really going to do this? And
Right.
can I really do this? Yeah.
Well, now we know the answers to that one, but
fat
beforehand
yes.
you didn't. But the cool thing is you talked about it. It was your first 100, and I mean you had ridiculous amounts of support and people.
Which
I mean,
so
since
awesome.
Facebook the last week, my whole feed
Right.
on Facebook has been pictures of you
And that foot.
or your blisters
Yeah.
or people's
That's
reactions
awesome.
to your blisters.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that
was the
one woman-
best. Kalina.
woman-
That's
That was
Kalina.
She was like, "Oh my god!"
But you know what? You saw her face, but she actually is the one who held my hand while they popped those blisters.
Uh-huh.
She's a good friend.
Yeah.
So did you have someone hold your hand when you went in for your root canal?
No. Well, actually,
So blisters
the
are worse.
first, like when I had the surgery, my daughter, so my 21-year-old daughter, is a dental assistant. She wanted to come for two reasons to my surgery. She's like, I want to see what they're doing, and I want to videotape tape you when you wake up from the anesthesia.
Oh,
She's like, that's my only reason I want to come.
Those are
I'm like,
big.
not to hold my hand,
Yeah,
not because
no.
you're worried about mom.
She wants to
No.
put you
Yeah.
on
She wants
Facebook.
some YouTube business.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
That'll help the channel.
That's how she's making money on the side, right?
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, you had crazy amounts of support, not
I
just
did.
during the race, but like motivational support, people cheering you on, egging
Right.
you on, the enablers even. But you also had local Matt Van Horn, who's
Yes.
the crazy awesome runner in his own right.
Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
He did some video,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, he did.
So
Go ahead.
he's making a story of you, right?
yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
That's really cool.
So how'd that idea come about?
Matt. How does any of Matt's ideas come about? We were we were talking about me running, and and he's a good friend, and we were just I was asking him advice, and we were talking the week before, and he said he called me 2 days before and said, I've been thinking about this for a while. I really want to do a story. I really want to do a short film about this and about your story and about you, and I want to. If you're really going to run, right? And I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And he says, can I come out and and film you the whole time and do a story about it? And I was like, well, what my response was, I think I told you this. My response was, what are you going to title it? A back of the pack grandma, really slow ass runner finally decides to run 100 miles, and that's the name
That's
of your
kind of a
film.
long
That's
title.
a long. That would
I
that's a
know.
long title. So
It
what is the name of it? Did he
I
tell you?
don't know. He
Nothing
hasn't told
yet?
me.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
He's
Yeah.
probably just waiting for it to come out before he ties it, right?
Yes.
I'm
The
thinking.
blister.
Yeah, the blister. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what
Huh.
you'd title it. So yeah,
We'll work
he
on
just, but he's awesome. Which is
So did you have any extra pressure then once you knew that he was going to come out?
yes,
Right?
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. You wanted to look good.
Yeah,
That's why you got the Trail Manners visor, right?
That's right. That's why I reached out to you. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love your podcast. If someone's gonna be filming me, I want to have local gear on.
And that visor is good looking.
It is good
Even on the
looking.
photos, it really stands out.
I
So I was
know.
looking through the photos. I didn't care about the rest. I'm like, does she have her visor on? Cool.
Yeah.
Visor, cool.
I was a little disappointed we didn't have something for her at the nighttime.
That's true.
She only had a buff
Yeah,
that was non-Trail Manners.
yeah. It was. I do have a hat. I should have worn my Trail
This might
Manners
have been
hat.
too warm.
I think
Yeah.
that's
the beanie
why
would probably
Yeah.
it's too warm.
a buff would have been a good thing.
Yeah.
You need to get some buffs.
What do we do?
Yeah.
That's
Imagine
interesting.
that.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you get some buffs?
Well,
They should be
check
here
our
in-
store pretty soon. You might see some.
Couple weeks.
News
That's
drop.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that softball we knocked out of the park.
There you
There
go.
we
You
did.
got it.
Right.
I was really scared when the extra pressure, like you said, with Matt doing that.
Yeah.
And because I did have so much support, and I really, and honestly, there is no way that this race would have happened without a doubt without the support that I had. Completely is on
Takes a
all of
village
those people.
sometimes,
It
right?
does,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the race of my life. Seriously, the race of my life, and it's because of everyone that was helping me and cheering me on and
Right.
and encouraging me. It was just, I'm blown away by it, actually.
So between the time that you did the first 25K on the island to when you did the 100 miler, had you done any other races out there, like the 50K or the 50 miler?
I did the 50 miler last year.
Okay, so
Okay.
you knew the whole course going
Mhm.
into it then.
Yeah.
You knew what to
I knew
expect.
what to expect. I knew
Right.
how crappy that last 4 miles of the of the race is.
Right.
So for those that don't know, the Buffalo Run 100 is the 50-mile loop twice.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
the part where she knew exactly. 'Cause she just
And
did the
Bridger
same thing
Bay is
twice.
rocky and technical, and it's the
Yeah.
last 4
That-
miles of
but
100.
But
And
I love that section though. If
Yeah,
you
it's
go
a
out and
great
run.
if you have
section.
fresh legs,
Yeah.
but not on
Yeah.
when your legs are dead, it's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy, especially when you have a dead leg.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your left one doesn't
It's
feel
true.
anyway.
That is true. True.
But yeah, you did 26:38, fourth female.
That's
and
awesome.
16th overall.
Yeah.
Her first 100.
That's
And-
so solid.
And most of the pictures, if not all the pictures I saw, and I haven't seen them all because, like I said, it'd take me hours on Facebook. But
True.
you were smiling.
She was.
Literally all the photos I saw, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like a very happy person. Like I haven't seen pictures or you in person, which has been rare, but not smiling.
True.
But for a 100-mile race, the anxiety of all the levels, because
Right.
there were pictures early on,
Yeah.
pictures halfway through, but of course the end of the finish line, and it was just hordes of people around you, and you're smiling,
Yeah.
and you could just tell that it meant a lot, but you were just, like you said earlier, just grateful for the support.
Right.
I'm completely humbled by the support
Yeah.
and by, like you said, like on whatever day it was, Monday, I guess, when, all those pictures were getting posted, and, I did completely humbled and like surprised by it, and just, I don't know, it's amazing, like an amazing community and amazing people. And I'm just, I really felt good and was happy through the race, and had so many good people with me. I mean, I had, my pacers, and I had other friends that I knew throughout the whole race that, you see that race, the beauty of that race is that you see everybody so much of the race.
Right.
So,
whether they're running, because you're looping,
or they're
or out and
volunteering,
backs, or the Wranglers had the aid station.
Right.
Yeah, and so you get to see so many people that you know and love and that are cheering for you, and it's hard not to be happy, I think, during that. And
then out of the blue, a couple days later, you get this Facebook message saying, "Hey, do you want to be on our podcast?" And at first she's like, "No, I'm good."
yeah,
I'm
no,
good.
She's like, "I've got Oprah, Leno, Letterman."
Don't you know who I am?
Letterman.
He's gone anyway.
Yeah, come on.
And I'm like,
that'd
"Come."
be foul
And
now.
then I get her back. She's like, "You know what? I had one drop out, so if we got a small spot open,
Yeah,
we can fit you in.
yeah, we can fit you in here."
We were going to get you in anyways. It worked out really good.
Yeah.
The person we were going to talk to, she's over in Nepal right now, and we never got a hold of her
wow.
before she left.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this kind
Perfect.
of this fits into our schedule. Let's do it.
Oh,
And
that's
in,
awesome.
in between root canals,
Yeah,
so
in
everything
between
worked
root
out.
canals.
Everything worked
Yeah.
out just perfect.
Yeah.
No,
So you're running the 100. So at any time did you hit a low spot where your demeanor went from being this is rad to this stinks?
yeah, I did. Mile 45, which
Okay.
I know is kind of a weird spot probably, but I just kept thinking, I'm tired. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and
True,
I just
because the race starts at noon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, I'm
getting fatigued.
tired, and maybe 50's all I got. You
Right.
know, maybe I'm just gonna stop when I get to the tent. Like I'm just done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not. It just was one of those dark places where you're
Right.
just like, ugh. And I got into the tent, and I kind of voiced that. And my pacer, Carl Duke, said he was doing 50 to 70 with me, and he says, Annie. He's like, you can do 20 miles in your sleep. He's like, come on, we'll walk it. I'll tell you stories. And he like named off like 5 stories that he had, like all these different things. And he's like, if you want to hear those stories, he's like, you have to come do 20 miles with me.
Ooh, good.
And,
That's a good trade-off.
He's
Dang
like,
it,
you
I
know
would've
what?
came
When we
too.
get back here, you'll be at 70, and you
Yeah.
can quit if you want.
Yep.
Or you can realize that you only have 30 left, and you'll be good.
Such an enabler, right?
Well, it's awesome because before he picked you up, Carl was over here at Studio 78 because I stayed
Oh, he
Friday
was?
night, and we hung out for like over an hour just shooting the breeze.
yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah,
That's-
so we were just talking, and he was, why did you get a bus? That was one of his questions. and I
Why did you get a
answered it.
bus?
Yeah, he's like, why did you get this? And I'm like,
Well, that should be an obvious answer,
yeah,
right?
and so, but he
Yeah.
had a story about because they have a motorhome. Anyway, so Carl came
Yeah.
over and we talked for quite some time
Oh, yeah.
before he picked you up, and so I could see he's just a good guy.
He's a good
know?
guy. He was
Yeah.
perfect for that stage of the race because
Yeah.
he's got tons of energy and
Yeah.
he's just, like I said, he had stories and he just talked to me the whole time and just said, come on, we can do this.
That's
and
awesome.
So at what point did you come out of that funk?
Just a few miles into that with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
So like by mile 55, by the time you got out to the Elephant Head aid station, you were like rolling again.
Yeah, I was feeling
That's
really good at
cool.
that point and
So
just
did-
enjoying it.
Did you do good at nighttime then? Because a lot of
Yeah.
time people struggle with the night.
Like I said, I do really well on very little sleep. I don't know if
Oh,
it's what I
obvious.
like learned, with my daughter.
Yeah.
But I don't really struggle with little sleep. So as long as I would get tired, like
Right.
not wanting to go to sleep, but like my body was tired. And
Yeah.
so then I'd just drink a Coke or drink some caffeinated water, and then I was good to go.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoyed the nighttime.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Was it spooky at all?
Yeah, I had one moment where I looked up from the trail. I kind of had my head down, like
Mm-hmm.
not really paying attention. And I looked up, and from me to you, there were all these buffalo eyes.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, put your head back down
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just keep moving.
Just act like you're part of the herd, right?
Yeah, just act like you don't even know they're there.
Give them a quick little snort.
See, that's what scares me. Like I don't mind the evening running anywhere, but Antelope Island.
Really?
It just gives me the heebie-jeebies because buffalo are big,
They're huge.
and
Yeah.
you just sneak up on them. And I've heard stories say, I've been out there at night and I could hear them, but I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good because they can close pretty quick.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they can.
I just pretended they weren't there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I did.
I hear that a lot, but
Yeah.
on the island, I can't. I've been chased by one, so I just
Oh,
can't
you
pretend
have?
buffalo are not there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just don't know about that.
There was a moment during the race where one of the buffalo was off to the side of the trail, and there were 3 of us running, and he was kind of like pawing the ground and like
Right.
looking at us.
Yeah.
And then a mountain biker came cruising down the
Oh.
trail, and all of us like looked at each other and looked at the mountain biker, and we're like, he's gonna get him,
Yeah,
and we just took
exactly.
off running.
That's the heebity-jeebity.
So you did good at night. So when the sun came up on the second day, how were you feeling at that point? Was
Well-
that kind of like a heck yeah moment?
Yeah,
It's
it
on?
was. So I was so surprised by myself. I like when I tell you I had anxiety about starting. Like I almost started an hour early because I was so nervous I was going to be
Really?
last. Like I
Oh,
really
man.
did. I didn't even know that I could do 30 hours. And like
Right.
my pie in the sky goal was 28 hours. That
Right.
was like, if I do that, I will be like thrilled.
You're dropping the mic. I'm retiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
actually because, but
No, you're
so when I came in at the 50, I did it in 12 hours on the first 50, which for
Right.
me was like oh my gosh, like if I do that, I can actually do this.
Right.
So then when I came in from the 70, and I was still right on target
Mm-hmm.
for, I came in at like 6 a.m. So I came in right as the 50Kers were leaving.
Right.
And so then it was like, oh my gosh, I have 30 miles. That's all I have left. Like
Yeah.
I get to watch the sunrise,
Yep.
and this is my favorite time of the day, and I get to be outside. And so, yeah, when we took off from there, it was like, okay, we got this. We can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that. It's so much of that mental side of things. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like you said. I mean, like Joel mentioned, 100 milers. When the sun comes up for me, anyway, that next morning, it's
Mhm.
like the biggest boost
It
ever.
is.
Yes.
You know, not that you survive the night, but there's something about
You can see the
Yeah.
trail
the
again.
sunrise.
Yeah,
too.
you can
Yes.
see the trail
Yeah,
again,
you
the
can see-
sunrise.
Yeah, it's just awesome. And on that,
Yeah.
on the Antelope Island, when you get around where that
Oh,
sunrise,
right there. Yeah.
it's just the mountains. You got the lake. It's
Yep.
just a
See the
great
city
view.
across the
Yeah,
way, and
yeah. So it's just those mental boosts.
Well, and on that run, you know, I think it's 11 miles out to the ranch and back. So you have like 22 miles, and you see everybody coming back as
Right.
you're going out, or you see as you're going back, you see people coming out. So you know where you're at in the race, and you're
Right.
passing people. And that was a huge boost for me. Like I got to almost to the ranch, and I was catching up to people that had been way ahead of me.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm feeling good. Like
Right.
I could do this. Like I can pass these people. And so from the ranch back in, I think I passed like 6 people.
Wow.
And I kind of have a little bit of a secret weapon. Like they were teasing me because I can walk a 13-minute mile, like
Yeah.
just straight walking. It's not even like a real power walk. Like I can go faster
So you
than
can
that.
power walk
if,
like 10-minute mile.
like,
Right?
like
I'm
Logan.
not joking. I bet you she could.
Like Logan came out and
Yeah.
was with me for about a mile of it, and he's like, I'm straight up jogging. He's like, it's really sad that you've done 80 miles
Right.
and I'm jogging to keep up with your walk.
Yeah.
So for me, even though I couldn't necessarily run all of it, I can walk really fast.
Right.
And so where other people, you know, so I felt like that was an advantage.
You're still
just
close to
like,
doing like 5 miles an hour at that point.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is
Right.
great 100-mile pace.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially the clothes there.
I
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Well, and then when I looked at my watch and realized that I was going to do it like faster than 27 hours even,
Right.
I just thought, oh my gosh, like,
Little-
and that's what kept me going in the end.
That's
Was
so
like,
rad.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I can actually do this.
A little more
Exactly.
giddy up.
Yeah.
you know,
That's
type
right.
thing.
Especially
Yeah.
when you come around that last point there and you can see the finish up on the hill.
Yeah.
One of my blisters popped like right about that time.
Yeah, but you can't feel anything on that foot.
No,
So
it was
what's
on
the
my other
problem?
foot.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I said a few choice words,
girl.
and I couldn't run.
Yeah.
I wanted to run the end of it, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Oh.
I
That was
just
just your foot celebrating like
Yeah,
those
no.
poppers.
I know, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like your blister going.
we're almost done.
That's so cool.
so I walked it in, but it was a
Yeah.
fast walk.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had a
No
great
shame.
view from Studio 78.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of people over, and we saw you come in. A lot of applause straight to the tent, and then that's
Yeah.
when the the inspection started with,
Yes.
with the feet and everything else.
That's when the
so-
freak show
I know
started,
it totally
right?
was. I was that was awesome.
freak show.
yeah. What's
Under
going
a
on
circus
over
tent.
there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Annie sitting down.
They just took her shoes off.
Yeah.
She's got growth on her feet.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're gonna have to include one of those pictures in
Yeah,
the
you
blog
definitely are
post
going
for this
to.
interview.
Those are good.
I have video. They videotaped it if you
See,
want
I'm not
it.
sure I want to see that. But I bet
Slow-mo.
you some people
Boom,
will.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could
Slow-mo.
charge for that. There's some freaks out there that like
That's
to see
true.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
We'll
really
share the
could.
revenue. Yeah.
We'll share the revenue. How do you split a
We'll
penny?
make a ton of money.
we might, I'm telling you, there's some weird people out there that pay to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did your 100, and you just kind of said something a minute ago. So what's your plan for
The rest of the
the
year.
rest of the year?
The only thing I'm signed up for the rest of the year is El Vaquero Loco,
Oh.
the 50K.
Have you ever done that before?
No, and I have
Oh.
friends who have said it's amazing,
It's
so I'm
gonna be
really
your
excited.
favorite.
Yeah,
This-
that's what I hear.
El Vaquero is going to be an absolute
It's gonna be so much fun.
party girl.
Are you guys gonna camp?
Yeah.
All right, right
Yeah.
on.
Are you guys gonna be there?
Yeah,
Sweet.
we'll be there.
Yeah.
That's
You
our
gotta get there
race.
early for the camp spots, though.
That's
right?
what I
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
advice to you and everybody else: is get there early.
Get there
That's
early.
not my advice to anybody else because I want a camp spot. So you
That's
Well,
really
I'm
show
gonna
up
get
late
there. I'm
Friday.
gonna get there. I think
Yeah,
we're gonna
seriously, nobody
send
else.
Somebody up there early to get a good camp spot.
Okay.
Yeah,
If I can get
that's-
Wi-Fi, I'll go up early.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I'm signed up for
It's not gonna
here.
happen.
I'll
not
take
gonna
the
happen.
bus.
That's awesome.
Leave
You have
the
to
week-
drive like on like.
I'll leave the week
At
before.
least-
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It'll get there.
How does
will.
it do on hills? It probably doesn't do good on those Wyoming hills.
You'd be surprised.
It does
Doesn't
all
do
right.
good.
Like 50?
Yeah, it does all right. I just got
50?
since
That'd
I got
be
it
fast.
since I got it fixed. It actually, the last week it's been driving super smooth.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
It
for real.
has.
Just not
This
fast.
this was the first time I've been in it since last September,
Yeah.
and it drives so much better,
Yeah.
and it does not smell like it used to.
Yeah, I used to have a gas smell.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you
not
get
good.
like
Gas issue.
just
Yeah.
straight up high as
There's
a
a-
kite.
Right inside that
Yeah.
that door right there, we got a fire extinguisher. We're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're good.
If you get to it
Yeah.
quick enough.
You got to have somebody with you in case they need to like put it out while you're driving.
He's got like auto drive on that
I
thing,
do.
man.
I've got some I've souped it up quite
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah,
That's
too
good.
fast, too furious.
But,
Yep.
You know. All right.
Souped it up. So only El Vaquero Loco. Do you have any more hundreds on your list?
For this year.
Here is the thing.
Uh-oh.
So I really, like I said, I honestly didn't believe that I could do 100. I really
Okay.
didn't. Like I was hopeful and I thought maybe. To have it come together in such a perfect way, to have the support that I did, and I mean, I really had the race of my life. Like, I really did. It just all came together for me. I felt great. You know how it is? Like, sometimes when you just have those days where
Wait a
it's
minute.
just like,
No,
this is
I've
my...
never had that. I've never had that at a race.
Joel
Not
said
yet.
it so fast. He's, oh yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
looking. Well, maybe not.
I mean,
No.
and I never have had that. I really have never had that where it's like you
Right.
just feel good and you have such good support and everything comes together. And I beat my goal time by an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Like, how do I ever do better than that? Like,
Well-
how do I ever beat that experience?
you will.
You
And-
will, and let me tell you the other side of it.
Okay,
It's-
tell me that.
It's that not great experience to me
Yeah.
that makes it even better.
Really?
Right.
Not really.
As
I
long
mean,
as it doesn't get you down.
yeah,
Yeah.
or hurt you.
Yeah.
Hurt.
Right.
But it's those when you pull. I mean, again, your history with stuff is beyond fathomable.
Well, she's
for me.
done though. I mean, her karma has been paid in
Yeah,
full.
that's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's
she
true.
she is smoke. She is clear of that.
Because right
Yeah.
now,
Nothing but rainbow puppies and kittens from here on
unicorns.
out, right?
but see,
exactly.
all your friends and all our listeners are gonna like look at you kind of weird. They're like, wait a minute, she needs to suffer,
Yeah.
right?
But
You
she's
can't-
already suffered enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
race wise.
Race-
That's what
oh,
I'm
no,
saying.
Yeah.
that
no,
whole-
she does.
That whole
Yeah.
that
She
whole
needs to have
history.
like a mountain 100.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You know what my fear with a Mountain 100 is I don't know that I can make the cutoffs. I
Oh my
really
gosh, you
don't
can do
know
that.
You've got this trademark Annie power walk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is going to get you through.
But I can't climb that fast because I don't have the
You don't
strength
need to.
in my
Your left leg.
In my left
really?
leg, I
Is it-
really
so it's that much of a
yeah.
discrepancy.
I don't have
Oh,
a lot
man.
of
What if you
climbing
did
power.
What
Let's
if you
do-
did some strength work on that?
Yeah. See, and maybe that's what I'd have to do because
I
and
think
that really
so. I
is
think
my
that would
fear.
help, you know,
Yeah.
lessen the discrepancy because it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and that's because I think about it, and I'd love to do a mountain race.
Right.
a
Okay,
mountain
so Vaquero
100.
Loco would be a good test because you got a
Just-
4-mile climb and then a 7-mile climb.
Yeah,
And
that's
right?
kind of what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
and
And-
there's like semi-mountain races too, like not full on 30,000 feet. And,
Yeah.
you know, all this other stuff. There's other
Other
non-
ones.
Bryce would be a good one. That's
So I
good.
did Bryce 50 last year.
Okay.
and that
so
was
that's got
yeah.
a crap ton of climbing.
that
on
was
it.
a ton of climbing.
Yeah, it's just nonstop rolling hills.
You
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
a point-to-point 100.
Yeah, see the
Like the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what bear is one. If I did a mountain one, bear is the one that I kind of would look at. I don't think I know I wouldn't do Wasatch for a couple of reasons, but mostly because I just don't think I can make the cutoffs.
Really? I think you could.
I think you
Yeah.
could.
I think so. Have you ever done Logan Peak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you know the first
Yeah.
10 miles of the bear,
Yeah.
right?
That's a big,
And
gnarly part of the bear, too.
Which
Yeah, it
is.
is.
Yeah.
And after that, there's only
And I crewed
like
Kenzie on the
one
bear
more
last
big
year.
climb after that.
So I saw a lot of the course
Yeah.
doing that for her.
Exactly. You would be fine at the bear.
Yeah.
That would be right up your
Yeah.
alley.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so, yeah, I do agree with you. Like, I really didn't. I mean, it was the hardest physical thing I've done to do
Yeah.
100, but I didn't have the sufferfest like a lot of people do. You
Right.
know, I mean, my feet were the worst part. I mean, I had hobbit feet up until yesterday.
Right. And that's, to be honest, that is the worst.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. You're talking, oh, my feet are killing me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there on that one. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, your feet are like ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any sore muscles like my leg. I mean, like I nailed my training. I
Yeah.
really feel like I nailed
Obviously.
it. You know? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think you should do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get your password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll sign me up.
Well, you'll get an email.
Yeah, you will. Brad's
My
gonna-
husband will be
he's gonna give us
appreciative of
back
that.
at you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at this email. What the hell? Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Guess what we're doing?
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, that was the first thing he said to me because I didn't tell him for a couple months I'd signed up for this 100,
Right.
and that was the first thing he said to me was, "You didn't sign me up right." Like, no,
Not
you're
to
good.
this one.
Not
Nope,
yet.
No,
Because I'm running it.
Yeah. Yeah, you need that support.
right? Because I need you to come.
Pretty
Because
much.
he did the last 17 miles
Yeah.
with
It
me.
would be
There you
hard
go.
to have, spouses in the same 100-mile race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
think it would be
so hard.
really hard.
Yeah.
And we've done 50s together. We've done,
Yeah.
all of our 50s that we did last year, we both did them.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
which is
awesome.
fine.
All right, so you only got Vaquero this year.
Yep. So far.
That's
but
all
I'll
so
sign
far.
up for other stuff.
There's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the excitement's going to keep catching up to you from your 100.
I think
know.
so.
Because people come away from hundreds most of the time and say, "I'm never doing that again."
Or they come away and it's almost like you're in this post 100 funk,
yeah,
right? I mean, you're not obviously, but it's kind of like, okay, now what?
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Because I put all my chips into this one event, and now I'm kind of like at this weird nether region.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't know what to do.
And then after a couple pints of ice cream, you're like, "Yeah, I
Oh.
feel better now."
See, and
Yeah.
for me, like the saying I wouldn't want to do it again isn't because like of a funk or like
Yeah.
I loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. And like I said, my husband said to me afterwards, he's like, first of all, you can't ever say you're back of the pack again. You can't ever say you're slow again.
Absolutely not.
And he
I think
said,
if anything, that's what you need to test.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is the next thing. You could still sign up for Bryce. That I just saw this the other day. It's not
Yeah.
closed. You'll be recovered in
It's
time.
too hot.
Oh, now she's just coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
But you know what to expect. You did it last year.
You just
True.
she needs to do it point to point
Yeah. I think because I
Well, why? So why do you say that?
because she's done those 50 milers that are loops, and she's done a loop course. So I
Right.
think she would enjoy point to point where maybe she doesn't know exactly
but
where she's
I
at.
think that she enjoys seeing people on the way back.
Oh, I do too.
I do
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that course, the 50 milers are bust out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they come
And
back
then
with
you
you
come
on
back
your
in.
return trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's my issue with that one though is really that it's in June.
I know.
Okay. Then
It's
In
on
Bryce.
It's on Father's Day, so maybe
And it's
that's
in
another
June.
do
reason.
javelina.
Do I have, yeah.
That's a
no,
loop.
I've heard
That is a
about that
loop.
one.
That's a loop.
Yeah, you get to wear a costume.
Yeah.
Huh, I could do that. I'm good at that. I have
I wanna run
lots of
javelina.
costumes I've run in.
There you go.
It always sounds so weird when people say that.
Yeah.
No.
It does.
I really do.
Kenzie, when she goes, we got a whole closet
Oh,
of
yeah.
costumes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what? She and I rival each other on that.
Really? That's so weird.
That is
I
weird.
know.
I don't really have
It
any
does sound
costumes.
weird, but
I
they're
don't
not
either.
those
Not that
kinds
I'm
of
gonna admit to.
costumes. You know.
No, that's a different show.
Yeah, it is.
We'd have to have Turtle
Let's
Miller
not
on the
go
show
there.
for that one too. Round table.
Figure out what we call that one.
You could get a few.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we would have no shortage of people coming out of the woodwork or the
I
creepy
know.
closet.
Maybe.
That one's gonna
they-
have to be like the paid for version.
Yeah, there you
right.
go.
Premium version.
Yes, exactly.
The R-rated version.
R would be like
That's
mild.
true. That's true.
Especially that turtle on it.
I know.
So Elva, that's awesome. You're doing El Vaquero.
I'm excited.
Every day I hear someone else doing El Vaquero. Like it seems like I talk to somebody. Oh, I'm
Right.
doing El Vaquero. Oh, I'm doing El Vaquero. And Ty
Yeah.
doesn't post on his ultra sign up. The
Who's
entrance.
doing it? Yeah.
And so you never know
Yeah,
how
you don't know.
full they're gonna get, who's
Yeah.
gonna be there. But I'm like, I just want to see all the people I know that are gonna be there.
Basically, everybody's going to be there. We're going to know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
gonna be
that's what
fun.
I'm finding out. Because my friend, you guys know Don Mueller.
Yeah, we know Don.
He's an Ogden guy.
That's
and
going to be, I think, his 5th year.
It is. Yeah, he's excited to
So
get his
get
big
the
buckle.
buckle,
And
yeah.
so he and I run together a lot, and he did a lot of my training with me.
Yeah.
And he's the one who talked me into it. He's like, you got to do this with me. You got to come do it with
Yeah,
me.
it's
Maybe
fun.
we should get all the people we know into Trail Manners shirts for the race.
That would be rad.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be so
Make
cool.
everybody
Trail
we know
Manners
wear
something.
with
Yeah.
Trail Manners shirts. So it's just like a flooded course of all the photos. It shows that, right?
Oh, that'd be rad.
Seriously, you
Let's do
should
it.
do it. Let's
Trail
do
Manners
it.
kit.
Yeah.
You know, like a little
Let's
Do
running
a
kit.
tank
let's
top,
kid them
though.
all out,
Kid
right?
'em out.
Yeah.
That'd
Do
be
a tank top so that
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah, we've
tank
been
top
asking,
and
girls have been
hats.
asking
yeah.
for tank tops.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
a tank top because I don't like running in.
We got to find a tank top
We got to find a good
Supplier.
company, right? That
Yeah.
has-
because we got the print people nailed.
yeah, we
But
do.
not
Yeah, we
the-
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sign Garage can crush
They
it on
crush
stuff,
it. It's
but we
finding a
need tank
good
top.
material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nice cut.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you-
that'd be
it's
awesome.
true.
To kid
Do you
out
like
our
the
friends.
traditional tank or the cutoff sleeve?
The what is the cutoff sleeve like? Is
So
it-
the cutoff sleeve is kind of like right there, like you would
Just
cut
the
your
sleeve,
sleeves off,
like
right?
a
Oh,
sleeveless.
yeah.
Or do you like the one that comes in
Like
like
no,
that?
I like the cutoff sleeve.
Okay, so like
actually.
the
Okay.
muscle shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
As
a
the
little
old
bit.
school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
wife beater
Yeah.
type
No.
tank top.
That's what we should do is get a bunch of wife beaters and logo.
You can do different colors. They don't have to be that white.
No, they gotta be white.
They
now.
gotta be
They
white.
gotta be white now.
Some yellow.
Well, that's true. You could do white and then do like the green and the turquoise.
Yeah.
You know, on that.
That'd
yeah.
be sweet.
I'd wear one proudly for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Now we got to get Ty to post his list of who's on there.
Yes.
Okay, off mic, I got the solution to this.
I like
Nice.
the off mics.
Yeah, the
I
off
like
mic, I
this.
got the solution to this. It's not going to be cheap, unfortunately.
Well, we have to do a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, we're pretty good
You'd
at that.
get pretty good support, I think.
I
I think
don't know.
we could pull together some
It's
trail
that
runners.
X-rated version of the show is going to pay for
Yeah.
this. All right, don't worry, I got it
There
covered.
you go.
Joel's mind is crushing it right now.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's. I mean, your story's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know anything about.
See, and that's the thing is
Coming
I
into it.
did
Yeah,
just from last week, and
Yeah.
I was the same way Joel was, and you're telling me that last week in the parking lot, I'm just like, really? And then she tells me something more. I'm like, are you kidding me? Something else, you know? And just to see, like Joel mentioned, you seem super kind,
yeah,
you
resilient,
smile,
yeah.
happy. I mean, that says a lot about
Yeah.
your character, and you talk about your tribe and the people. It's almost you run with. I mean, and your support you had at Buffalo Run.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you. Instead of just like reverse, it's like you draw those people towards you,
Right.
Aw.
right? Instead of like you're a part of that group, it's like people are drawn towards you, and you can see that more that we've got to know you even last week, and then just talking on the show and some of your stories and just how you are. It's like people are drawn towards that, and I think that's why the support you had was so genuine and so big.
Right.
Because it's like, holy cow, this is awesome, blah blah blah. Because there's some people that have gone through it and done it, and some haven't that supported you.
Yeah.
But you draw that type of aura. Is that the right thing?
No, that's good.
Is that right?
I think that's correct.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And you
Thank
can just
you.
see that, and
Yeah.
then your husband coming to check on us to make sure
Right.
we're okay.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
still gives you that street cred,
Yes.
Yeah.
to where you're kind of uneasy,
Like
Yeah.
a little, yeah.
because I know he was checking on us.
Right, he was.
Maybe he wanted to be part of it. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know.
A couple
Yeah.
dudes up there hanging out.
He
man,
wants
you
to
better go
come
check
tell
on
you
them.
like why he hates running. I don't know.
Well, again, to share your story, I think is amazing, and we love talking to people that do that
Oh,
because you
thank
just
you.
never know what you've gone through, and just like our last show, it's like you've accomplished more in life than obviously in running, but
Yeah.
to see it translate over to something and being that accomplished
Yeah.
and having the right perspective it's like you can do anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that's looking at you. It's like I have no doubt whatever you decided to do, Tahoe 200s even. It's like, yeah, she could do it.
Nope. DJ and I are good enough friends that no thank
she
you.
put the kibosh
So
no
quick,
way.
I just checked
Nope.
that out
I know,
there.
that
But
was
you know,
awesome.
I am crewing,
Wait a
or I
minute, there's
am
a Moab
pacing.
200.
Yeah, I'm
There you go.
pacing on that. I'm doing 50 miles of that with Andrew Jensen.
Girl,
He's
you might as
doing
well
it.
just sign up right now.
And
Yeah,
no, I'm
for
going to
next
crew him.
year.
I already told him I'd
Next
pace
year.
him.
Well, 2016.
Maybe next
Just
year.
pace him for that
Goals,
50.
right?
Pace him for that 50 and just knock out
Just
the
keep going.
150.
Yeah, just keep on running.
Why not?
I'm going to pace somebody for 50 miles.
Yeah, right?
Right?
I mean, geez. So,
Well, I love what you said because for me, like, I'm so grateful to be able to be out there, and I'm grateful to be a part of this community. Like, I really just feel so blessed and humbled, and I know that might sound crazy, but I really do feel that way. Like, we're out there because we can be out there, and how lucky are we?
yeah.
Right.
Like, we get to be outside, and we get to be running, and we get to be doing these incredible things, and there's so many people that can't.
True.
You know, because whatever the circumstances are, they just simply can't. And so I am like, that's really how I feel about it. So I love how you said that. Like, it's, you know, we get to be out there.
Well, because it came across last weekend because there were so many people on the island, and again, it was less than years past, but we had. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Joe was volunteering at the finish line.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
but I was at the bus,
I got
and
a
we
high
had
five.
people over here from the time I pulled up on Friday, hanging out and talking, and I was meeting new people, which was just
That's
amazing,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
People from all over the country that
Right.
really were there.
Yeah.
But somebody, I can't remember what it was. It was like a little kid was talking to their parent, and they're like, "Dad, why did you have to go run today?" You know? And the dad, and I wish I would have found out who they were, but maybe it's a good thing I didn't. The dad just like, "I didn't have to. I got to."
Right.
And it just, I mean, that kind of hits you there. It's like he didn't
Right.
have to do anything. He
No.
gets to. And I think that perspective on this is the big point. Because like
Yeah.
you said, you know, life's short. You never know what there's around the corner. But if you get an opportunity to do something, and
Go
Joe-
do it.
do
Like,
it.
live life and
Yeah.
take that opportunity and
Yeah.
actually do it. Because a lot of people talk about it.
Mhm.
And I'm guilty of that too. I
Oh,
mean, I
I'm
talked
guilty.
about
Oh, yeah.
doing a
Right
100
here.
miler for years,
Yeah.
you know, and then I finally was like, I got to do this.
Well, and a lot of times, and then not every time, because there's a lot of factors, but sometimes when you don't do something, it's kind of fear-based.
Absolutely, 100%.
And it's not necessarily
Yeah.
financial, or I
No.
can't get there, or there's always going to be the excuse, but at the root cause of that sometimes is that uncertainty
Yeah.
or fear or getting outside your comfort zone, or, you know, the fear of the unknown or the fear of failure,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're never guaranteed to finish any race. I don't care if it's 5K.
Right.
That
You're
was
never
huge
that
for me.
guarantee. So
Like
what-
doing it, that was huge. In fact, Carl said to me when we were running, he said, you know, you were so brave to put that post on Facebook, and he's the one that I did the day before, and he said, not for the reasons you think. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, I know it was vulnerable, and I know you put a little bit of yourself out there in that post. He said, but you put out there that you were doing 100 miles. And he's like, what if you don't finish?
Mhm.
And I
True.
said, Carl, that's exactly the reason I put it out there, because
Right.
I thought about that as I was running of, I don't want to have people saying,
accountability.
right. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I quit. I stopped. And which is fine, because
yeah.
that, you know, some days it's not your day,
It
and some
happens.
days it's
Yep.
okay. It
Right.
happens. But for me, that was a big push to keep going was, no, I want to be able to say I did this.
Yeah. And that's a lot of why people do it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like El Vaquero. This is my 5th year.
You're going to get the big
For
buckle
the big
too.
buckle, right?
Woohoo!
Am I doing it for the big buckle?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's like
That'd be
yeah.
sexy.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, I get to do
I'm going to be jealous of that
literally
buckle.
my favorite
Yeah.
race, right? That's my favorite
Yeah.
race. So
Yeah.
to say I had to do it 5 years to get
Yeah.
a buckle, oh, okay.
Nope, you got
Yeah.
to
You know
do
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. I
It's
got
like-
to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I had a good, like I said, Logan sent me a text 2 days before, and he just said, you know what? He said, Annie, just remember one foot in front of the other, and remember you get to do something you love for 100 miles.
Right.
You get to do that. He's like, just remember that as you're going. He's like, you're doing something you love.
Well, and it's funny, too. I remember the first time I did a 50-miler, my very first 50, I knew it would take me,
Yeah.
11 plus hours, right?
My
Squat
first
peak.
one took me 13.
Yeah, mine did too. But I was thinking maybe 11. But I remember sitting at work one day. I came
I was
into
just
work.
hoping to make the cutoffs on my first.
I was hoping to finish.
I had the cutoffs written down on my arm, and I was like, okay, am I
I
there?
gotta hurry. But yeah, I remember thinking that race. I was at work and I had an 8-hour day. And so I remember when I got there, and then when 8 hours had passed, and I'm like, but that really wasn't that bad. Like if I'm
No.
doing something for 8 hours, I know it's gonna hurt more and everything else, but I'm outside
Yeah.
doing something I enjoy. But that 8 hours didn't last as long as I thought it would. And
Right.
you always know, I don't care when you're running 100 miles, you always know that the next day after that is going to come, regardless of what happens in the race.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Whether you finish,
Yep.
whether it takes you 36 hours, the very next day, the Sunday, the Monday, will be there anyway. So what did you do during that time frame? You know, so that's sometimes what I put into perspective, because
Yeah.
I'm slow.
Yeah.
Middle of the pack is nice for me. Like, that's a
Yeah.
good day,
That's
really.
a great day.
You know,
yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Me
Because
too.
I do it for other reasons. And I think that's what you talk about when you were going on. It's everybody does it for their own reason, and whether you want to be held accountable or not, you know, just doing those things and getting the opportunity, I think is awesome.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether you
and-
finish or not, you still spent 8 hours doing something you enjoyed, and maybe you didn't finish, but there's 8 hours. Hey, I got to do
You still
that.
did it. Well, and don't you think, like, I look at it and I think we have these like amazing bodies. Like, they're healthy and they can do like really amazing things. How cool is it they heal? Like, my back healed enough that I was able to run 100 freaking miles
I know.
after, you know, having a broken back. Like, that's pretty dang cool.
That should be a good story unto itself to a lot of people that are struggling with back issues, right?
yeah.
That, you know, with the right attitude and the right rehab and the right surgeon, you're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You can do,
Right.
yeah. You might not be able to do what you did before.
Exactly.
But you can
might
still
have a dead
do really
leg,
cool things. Yeah. Yeah. but I'm
you-
not dragging it.
Yeah, you're not dragging it anymore.
It's
don't
gotten
walk
better
around
from
like-
that.
I don't walk around like Frankenstein.
Right.
Like Quasimodo, right?
Exactly.
That's the one. But yeah, so thanks for coming on and
Yeah.
sharing your
Thanks
story.
so much for having
It
me.
was
fun.
You guys
And
are awesome.
And it's awesome to know that, you know, in 2011 you were running some nuts races, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
And when you said that, then it totally hit me. And the
Yeah,
sad
then
thing
you
is,
remember her.
Well, I had to say my different last
she
name.
did. And as soon as she
Right.
said the last name from the race, I'm like, oh my gosh, I absolutely, totally remember you.
Right.
Like, I mean, it came
Yeah.
to me like the
And I
vision.
think
and
I
everything, and-
actually, that might be one of the only races I've ever placed in. I think
Wow.
I came in third in one
Did
of your
you?
races. You'll
Was
have to
that
look
the
up the
half marathon?
results. No, I did do that, but I didn't place in that. It was
Did
like,
you get lost in the half marathon?
yes, I did. And
You were
I,
the one that got lost.
yes.
I
and
remember
and
that.
mile and a half extra or some
Yeah, you went
stupid.
down Strong's
Yeah.
Canyon. The
Yeah.
flagging
Yeah.
was impeccable.
Jill
No,
marked-
it
Jill marked
wasn't.
Yeah, I went back and looked.
No.
Yes. Because I
Yeah,
remember
because I
that.
came into the finish line and
You
there
were
was
mad.
I was so mad.
I
And
remember
I
that.
just pointed at Joel.
Yeah, because I went back and I looked at the flag and I was like, I don't know how
No,
she
it was
missed this
totally
turn.
me. It was totally me. My head was down.
Yeah,
and I was
I could
just
see
running.
that, right?
But and you know what? It's because I was actually running really well, and
Right.
that's why I was so mad. Is because I really was like
Yeah.
up there in the front of the pack,
Right.
and I took a wrong turn, and
Right on.
I was a little bit pissed.
Well, that's
It's
awesome.
all good now, though. We're
Okay, good.
We're friends
Water
again.
under the bridge now.
Yeah.
But don't you think that the Buffalo Run race was marked probably better than most races you've come
You know, I
across?
think the person that marched that course must be like the most badass, cool person ever.
I'll have to pass that along.
Didn't you mark that with a 4x4, like a four-wheeler?
Yeah, the little Ranger on the island. That was a blast. I only left the mallet behind once. We had to turn around and go get it. So that was
On
bad.
purpose.
Yeah.
It's fun riding around
You
the
did a
island
good
in one
job.
of
It
those.
is. It really is.
Not running it, right?
No.
Yeah, it's just you see so much.
Because you don't have to worry about the buffalo when you got the
that's
gator.
true.
Till Jim lets you out and say, hurry and put a post there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to be right on his tail.
Yeah.
It's like pin the tail on the buffalo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
seriously.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having
so
me.
Really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
I mean, know that not
Thanks
just
for asking.
not just for our, we love it, but I know that people out there's always people that relate to somebody,
Yeah.
right, or a
Yeah.
certain way, and I know that's going
Right.
to happen here too. And I mean, you're just inspiring in so many levels.
Oh, you're
and
so
that,
nice
and that
to
help
say
that helps us too. And again, we just get to meet and get to know just super
Right.
duper rad people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are really cool.
So-
Thank
Thanks.
you so much for like.
was fun.
It was very nice of you to ask me.
And good luck in your next 100
Yeah,
or 200,
exactly.
whatever it might be. And we'll
Yeah.
definitely see you at El Vaquero.
Yes,
and you're gonna-
definitely.
you're gonna
and I
have
will
fun.
wear a Trail Manners, whatever
Well,
you
we're
make.
gonna get you
Oh,
some.
you know what we need to do is make a call out right here to see if it works. We should say, hey, Matt Van
Well,
Horn,
yes.
you
Well,
should
we
come
need-
up and do a video of El Vaquero.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be
that'd
be
wicked
cool.
cool with a drone in El Vaquero?
We know, Ty. We should be able to get the entrance list to see who's on it.
Yeah.
We
and
could do
say-
a couple posts on Facebook too.
Yeah.
I bet we could round
Figure
up
out
who's going to be there.
Who's going to be
But
there?
we
Who
can't
we
tell
know?
them why.
No.
We just need to say who's going to be there.
And what's your size?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, what's your shirt size?
Okay, I was going to say that would be better. What's your size?
Yeah, you can't say what's your size.
No, let's leave it at that. Not your flaccid
all
size.
right, well. They can choose what size of whatever they want
Yeah.
to tell you.
All right, well, we better stop here before this is a premium edition.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna start calling it that.
Yeah, the premium edition. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to join us. Tell Brad thank you.
Yeah, thanks
we
for
appreciate
coming up and checking on us.
Yeah,
we appreciate
trusting
that.
us enough. And
Yeah.
the guy that came and sprayed my car with rocks, if I see
You
you again.
suck.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna grab your nuts. Straight up. dude.
That's what Joel said.
I'll be watching Farmington for him. I saw
Yeah.
what the truck looked
I
I
did
know,
like.
I
too.
did too. That little black Nissan,
Yeah.
little punk.
But yeah, heal up. Good luck with the
Yeah.
rest of your
Thank you.
stuff on Monday to finish that saga of your
Yeah.
life. And
It'll
yeah,
be
we
over and done with.
can't wait to see you on the trails and,
Yeah.
and
Thank
talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
let's go run together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
that
let's
would be
do
real
it.
fun.
I'll
Me and
come to
Joel need
Ogden.
me and Joel
I love
also
the
need to
Ogden
branch
trails.
out too.
Yeah.
You guys can come down to Farmington.
I've never run down here other than
A race or
Let's
something.
do it.
Wasatch.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Come to a snorkeler run.
We heard that's top secret.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you when it is.
Because
I can forward an
we
email.
tried to get Kenzie, but she was like we weren't cool enough to go on the
Yeah,
snorkeler run.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll
you
run.
know.
We'll run with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can come run with me.
All right.
I can't
We'll
keep
have
up
more
with
fun.
Kenzie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will.
We'll have more fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We'll all wear our nut shirts.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, good luck in the next races, and thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank Annie MacDonald for taking the time to join us today. You can check more of Trail Manners out at trailmanners.com or check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners. On the website, look at the store. We are running out of sizes, running out of cool gear, but we're also going to have some new stuff on there, so keep close. Or hit us up on the contact page. Let us know if you want to be on the show or if you know someone we'd want to talk to. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.